One. Good afternoon from Miami Beach. This is Dr. John Bennett, the director of Neurosurgical TV. Today we have the 11th in the series of skull anatomy and neuroanatomy put together by the speaker tonight, Ulrich Sidney. Tonight he's doing an impromptu substitution for another speaker, which happens a lot in conferences, and we're glad it's something that Sidney's got to get used to in his career. That's going to happen the rest of his career. Anyway, so let me introduce the guest real quick. Hello, Daniel. Could you please introduce yourself by voice, if you'd like? Daniel, there? Can you hear me okay? Perhaps not. Okay, Dr. Kabulo, welcome.
Thank you so much. My name is Kabulo from Congo. I'm final year neurosurgery resident at the University of Zimbabwe.
Currently in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Very good. Welcome. Okay, Ulrich, thanks for changing, thanks for substituting, and it's all yours.
Okay, thank you very much, John. Thanks to all those who are there. Welcome, Dr. Kabulo. Always great to see you. Like John mentioned, unfortunately, we are not able to have the presentation which was set for today because our presenter, Dylan, had an emergency. And we didn't want to let this just go away. So we're going to reschedule his presentation tomorrow. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk about the resources available for medical students who are interested in neurosurgery. I think it's a very important topic because I've had a lot of questions myself, and I've had a lot of people ask me these questions. Unfortunately, there's not always resources available to give you the directions to get there. So today we're going to be talking about the resources available for medical students aspiring to neurosurgery.
Yeah, Ulrich, you don't have to go a long time. I know this is an impromptu.
No, yeah, thanks, John.
Yeah, and Dr. Kabulo, please feel free to comment during, if you don't mind, Ulrich, if Dr. Kabulo maybe comment.
Obviously, I would never mind.
Yeah,
it's always great to have Dr.
Yeah, we're making it informal type of thing,
Yeah. So, well, the first thing is we already have the data that lets us know that there's a lack in neurosurgeons worldwide, and this lack is today being studied by those of the field, those who champion global neurosurgery, guys like Dr. Key Park at Harvard and other neurosurgeons. And the WFNS has actually taken to heart these issues, and they are working towards increasing the number of neurosurgeons available, trying to increase the capacity for neurosurgery. And what they've done today is, for example, to create WFNS training centers around the world, and especially in Africa. So we have a few centers right now who have trained really good quality neurosurgeons, and most of them have gone back to their countries to work. Now, I haven't had the chance to talk with a few of them. The problem remains because they go back to these countries and they find out that there's a very high demand in terms of neurosurgical diseases. And the other problem is, besides the neurosurgery, there's a high demand for all the jobs that are connected to neurosurgery. That's like neuroradiology, neuropathology, neuro-ICU. So they find themselves having to not just do the work of a neurosurgeon, but equally that of a neuroradiologist. So they have to get their own CT scans, their own MRIs, and rely basically on their knowledge and skills that they gain during the training. So now those who are medical students today are hopefully the neurosurgeons of tomorrow. So we want to give them the skills and the opportunities to be able to match what our predecessors have been able to do, because it's really wonderful. It's astonishing when you work with neurosurgeons in the developing world, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. They're able to do such a vast array of things. So we want to be able to give the same chances to the young medical students or GPs who want to get into neurosurgery. So which are these resources that are available? Because today, if you are trying to get into neurosurgery and you're not close to a neurosurgeon, you pretty much feel lost. And the only opportunity you get is your course during your medical training. So first of all, obviously, is the textbooks. So we have the classicals, which I think everyone by now would know. That's Snell, Rotens, cross-sectional anatomy, various books from Team. And then we get to use the technology of today. The technology of today is like what we're doing today is like using Zoom, for example, being able to be on laptops, on tablets, on mobile phones, to be able to access knowledge across the world, to be able to have someone in Miami exchanging with someone right now in Zimbabwe, and other people who find themselves like myself right now in Cameroon. So we have to be able to use internet and technologies to be able to bridge the gaps, bridge the barriers. And one way to do that is to use applications. One of the most famous applications right now in neurosurgery is Upsurgeon. They came up, it's our fellow colleagues from Italy who came up with this application that's on mobile, on Android, Apple, as well as on phones. I'm sorry about the background noise. We have it's raining cats and dogs over here, so you just have to bear with me.
No problem.
So Upsurgeon is this amazing application, really amazing, that helps you not only to understand anatomy and the different relationships between the structures, not only the bones and the brain structures, but equally you go a step further, because you have the application in real life surgery. You're actually able to place a patient to see how what kind of craniotomy you'll be able to choose, what you will get, how you would move in the OR, equally how you'd use the microscope. It's fantastic, the job they did. And this application is available to anyone who has a smartphone, a tablet.
Excuse me, Ulrich,
Yes?
could you show us, screen share it and show us? Do you want to do that? The Upsurgeon app?
I have it on my phone. Right now I'm presenting on my laptop. So
Oh,
perhaps.
Okay, all right, no problem.
Yeah.
Because I believe there are Italian neurosurgeons that put that program together, right? Because I think I've spoken with them.
Yes. It was actually put together in Italy. So.
Well, you know what we could do? You know what we could do, Ulrich, sometime is maybe ask him to come and present.
Yes, absolutely. I think that would be an amazing, really a great idea, because that way he himself might get feedback from the users.
You're impressed with the app.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That would really be awesome.
Okay, we'll work on that. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much. So for those who want to download the app, you just need to search on, say, Google Play, Upsurgeon or 3D anatomy for the skull, and then you find the application. You can't miss it. It will be the first result on your search engine. Another great thing, I think we've all heard about Dr. Cohen Gadol and this project he has with Neurosurgical Atlas. So they've gone beyond having a website. First of all, on their website, you're able to register for free, get access to different lectures, grand rounds, participate, for example, in live sessions, just the way we do on Neurosurgical TV. You can equally follow them on their YouTube channel, and they have an application as well. So great thing, the Neurosurgical Atlas. So you have the kind of training that someone gets, like in the Bowery Institute, in Mayo Clinic, and all you have to do is just get an application or get on YouTube. The more generic ones are UpToDate and Medscape. Obviously, I put this here because for a medical student, it's not always obvious to get into these more technical textbooks like Roten, applications like UpSurgeon, the Neurosurgical Atlas, because the first time you get there, you're still struggling with the neuroanatomy. You're just trying to understand which bone goes where, which structure does what, and then if you get into these things really quickly, you might get scared. You might actually think neurosurgery is not for me. So the best way to go about this, I think, is to go step by step. That would be, for example, starting with Snell's anatomy, going up to Roten, going up to dissections, going up to the OR, and then same thing for like the applications. So you'd start, for example, with Medscape, go on. UpToDate is not free. So I think you don't necessarily have to have both of them. If you have Medscape, I think it's a good trade-off. You can use Medscape, then go on to have UpSurgeon and the Neurosurgical Atlas. One really interesting thing is dissections. Obviously, it's great to have live dissections, but for those of us who are from sub-Saharan Africa, it's not that common. It's not everywhere. I know, for example, that Dr. Kabulo in Zimbabwe, they have dissections, but on the other hand, if you check in like DR Congo, if you check in Cameroon, you're not going to find these dissections. However, you can find dissections on the internet by great neurosurgeons, by anatomists. We have, for example, one of the anatomists that comes here very frequently, that will be Dr. Hugo Perez, who has these great sessions where he shows you, for example, the veins, the arteries after injection of resin, and he has other models, 3D printed models that he does, which are really amazing. Scale 1:1, really the best thing, next to the best thing you could get for learning anatomy. On the other hand, I have to give an honorable mention for Dr. Ebrain, who does great dissections and equally posts them. These can equally be accessed, obviously, by Neurosurgical TV. That's where we are today. So I think I decided to talk about Neurosurgical TV at the end because this is it. This is the next big thing. The greatest advantage right now with Neurosurgical TV is we have people following us not only on Zoom, on YouTube, but as well on Facebook. And you find out that these different applications have their advantages. If your broadband is really, really, really bad, you'd be better off going on Facebook, for example, because on Facebook, obviously you will not be able to get that real-time interaction with the presenters, but Facebook permits for lower bandwidth. And then if you have better connection, I'd say, you can get onto Zoom. But then if it's not the best, you might have to what we do usually. That's cut off the video. So you only use the video when we're presenting. So when you present yourself, you use your video. But during the lecture, you cut your video. That way you cut down on the bandwidth, and then you're able to follow the sessions and participate. No stress. When you have your questions, you can ask your questions, obviously. You can put back your video on or not. That's a choice. You just do things based on the kind of resources you have. And the resource right now is internet and probably a mobile phone. YouTube, free, great resource. Well, YouTube, we have Neurosurgical Atlas, we mentioned already. If you miss a lecture, if you miss a presentation on Neurosurgical TV, you can always catch up because John does a lot of work to get all these presentations and then do the montage of this presentation and then uploads them onto the YouTube channels. So you might be coming today, but Neurosurgical TV dates way back. There've been so many presentations from guys like Hugo Perez, from guys like Ebrain, from the Walter Dandy Association in Romania, and you can access all these presentations as well. A little group, which is the Association of Future African Neurosurgeons. So you can access all those videos anytime. And with YouTube, you have this advantage that you can download, for example, videos when you have access to Wi-Fi. You download them onto your device, and then you can access it when you don't have mobile broadband. So that means if you get to some place where you have this free Wi-Fi, well, just download all your videos that you missed on Neurosurgical TV. Instagram. Well, I have to speak about Instagram because Instagram, Twitter, Facebook have had a really bad reputation as being these social media website, social media that just waste people's times. But what I would say about it is you have to learn how to use these applications, and you have to learn to use them to your advantage. If you follow the wrong people, then you get the wrong content, and then it's a waste of time. But if you follow the right people, you get the right content, and you're always aware. Because at the end of the day, the things that make the difference between individuals is opportunities. Because you'd find two people who have the same level of intelligence, the same work ethic, for example, but it wouldn't be the same if you have one individual, for example, being trained in Cameroon, and then the other individual is being trained in, say, the US or the UK. Although the two have the same level of intelligence, the same dexterity, one person, for example, has access to scholarships, has access to grants, to research, to laboratories, and that gives him the edge. That doesn't mean that the other person doesn't have, is doomed. No. But what we're saying now is there are tools for you to level the ground. So if you're a medical student today, you don't have to feel in any way inferior to someone that's in the US, for example, because you have access at the tip of your fingers with internet to the same content which they have access to. So you have to be motivated enough to do the work. So if you're on Instagram, well, you should follow Neurosurgical Surgeon, the Neurosurgical Surgeon, Neurointensivismo blog, and Skull-Based MD. These are all neurosurgeons that are on Instagram. They share cases, they share images, for example. They have question and answer sessions, which are really useful because you get the opportunity. For example, in the case of Skull-Based MD, this is the editor-in-chief of the Skull-Based journal. I mean, when you ask a question to this caliber of a neurosurgeon and that he answers you directly because you're on Instagram, you can't tell me that this is not leveling the ground. This is leveling the ground. So you have to be able to use it. So what you need to do is follow the right people, those people that give you excess information that just makes noise. You have to unfollow them or delete the different information that they bring to your feed. When you get to Twitter, Twitter is a bit different from Facebook. For those who have not been used to Twitter, but I'd say today, even for your career, you need Twitter because you have the same opportunity as Instagram, but it's not just about pictures. The people will give their opinion and you can interact with them, and you have the major players as, for example, these journals that I've cited. In the case of the World Neurosurgery, for example, every start to the month, they post the different links to the articles which are free and open access just for that month. So for a full month, you've got access to about 12, 15 neurosurgical articles. All you need to know is what is the link to that article. So if you don't follow them, you go beyond it. And we all know that in the case of those of us who don't have universities that cover the expenses for articles, it's very expensive and very difficult. If you want to access an article, then you probably end up spending 45, 50 euros or dollars. So these are opportunities. The next thing they also do beyond articles is they talk about special days in neurosurgery or months. You've got, for example, brain cancer, brain tumor days or months. You've got days for strokes, days for traumatic brain injuries. That way you stay up to date on the information. And when you interact, you get to know people who tomorrow might be your interviewers for a job opportunity, for example, or for a residency. And being given the opportunity to see how they think, what they cherish, you know what kind of person you need to become to be able to get into their programs. Besides World Neurosurgery, we have Neurosurgery, ACTA, JNS. They have great programs. For example, in neurosurgery, they have programs with case studies, which are freely available. So if you just hit neurosurgery, you go onto the website, you can have access to the case studies. You can equally have access to the operative anatomy, operative videos. So just a second, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to open a few of these links so that we can all see these things.
Yeah, at the end, Ulrich, we'll ask for the panelists to comment on what materials they suggest, okay? We'll let you finish first. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So guys, here's an example. We have operative neurosurgery here. This is, for example, this has been released really recently. It's not even up to a month. So what we have here is essential neurosurgery for medical students. It has all the major topics in neurosurgery, and all of them are open access. So you can go onto this link and click them and download them as a PDF. At the end of the day, you will get a textbook of the major.
That's a great resource.
Yes, you get a textbook of the major topics in neurosurgery, and it's free. It's done by the best of the best in the US.
I'm going to post that link on the Facebook page if I can get that link somehow.
Yes, you can have it. You can have it there. I'll just send it to you.
I'll put it in the Facebook now so people that are watching can get that link. Because I think if they're like me, wow, that's a dynamite resource.
Yeah. Okay. Let me send it to you. If or do you have it
Send
already?
it to me and then go on. I'll take care of the rest. Just continue.
Okay. Okay.
But we do have people watching, and you're talking about social media. This is a use of social media to get a link for a good resource.
Yeah. So look at these guys. First, introduction. What is neurosurgery? Then the neurological examination. These are not just a few pages. It is comprehensive. I mean, it goes well beyond, although they said medical students, it goes well beyond the information a medical student is supposed to know. This little green lock you see here is to say it's open access, so it's not locked. So all you do is you click, and then you can come and download it. That's it. So you have neurological examination, physiology, neurocritical management, trauma, vascular, tumor. Let me give you an example. Vascular. Just look at this. And you have videos, guys. Videos of operations on aneurysms, on dural AVF, AVM. You have everything on these pages, free of charge. And then you see again what I meant by opportunity. It is out there, but if you don't follow the right people, if you're not connected to the right people, then unfortunately, you won't get this information. There it is. Everything. Yes, exactly. So don't hesitate, get it. Now, the next thing.
It's what you call a pearl. When I was in medical school, they call those pearls. I don't know what they call them now.
They still call them pearls, John. They still call them pearls. They still call them pearls. Yeah, so besides this particular article, still on operative neurosurgery, you have a really long list of operative videos, and you've got case studies as well. Let me show you the case studies. Just a moment. It's in my bookmarks. Yeah. So CNS nexus. So yeah, here it is.
Wow, it's a great resource. Look at that.
Yeah. Once more, it's absolutely free.
I never even heard of this one, but I'm not a neurosurgeon, but I look at a lot of stuff. I haven't never seen this.
Yes. So so this was the CNS nexus. I'm going to show you the Neurosurgical Atlas. Neurosurgical Atlas. Yes. So all you have to do with Neurosurgical Atlas is just get an account. It's free. So, well, just get it. What you have here, these are all the topics. So non-technical skills in neurosurgery. For example, these are the things that you need to build, you need to work on, because these are the things you have in your letter of motivation. You have to show that you got these skills. Do you know how, are you teachable? Do you know how to communicate? Can you bounce back? Can you stay cool under pressure? These things, you learn them from these articles: epilepsy surgery, emergency neurosurgery, from, once again, the best of the best. And don't just stop at reading them. If you read them and you have a question, if you have a suggestion, get in touch with the authors, send them emails, tell them what you've done, where you come from, what you hope to do. And most of them are willing to reply, because they love that. They love to know that their work has gone far and beyond. You have someone maybe from Kenya or from Morocco who has read their work and then gives them a point of view that's different. And perhaps you can participate in these things. For example, in operative neurosurgery, there's currently a program for translation from English to other languages. So if you have a language and you actually master it together with English, you can participate as a volunteer, free of charge. You just go and translate the document and then do the audio for abstract. These things help you build your CV. These are the things that make a difference, because you come up with this other guy or this other person and they have basically the same grades you had at uni or during the USMLE. How do you differentiate yourself with these activities? So this is what Neurosurgical Atlas looks like. What else? We have Ebrain. Well, Ebrain is an initiative in the UK. In the UK, they came up with this. Let me show you Ebrain. Once again, normally you have to pay, but when you're from a low and middle income country, you can register and have the courses for free. These are courses that people in the UK, that's residents for neurology and neurosurgery take, and you get certificates. So these are the courses. These are the courses you have in Ebrain for free if you're from yeah. So an introduction to neurological assessment, CT-based imaging techniques, blah blah blah. I'm just going to click on one of them and then you see what you have. Videos as well, questions obviously, and you get certificates. So you have no excuse today to say that I didn't have the right people around me. I didn't have the right advice. No. You just need to be disciplined and give yourself some time, and you will be able to make it. Another really interesting resource on Coursera. Coursera, for those who don't know, is this big company who have a website. They give online courses. Most of them are free. At least if they're not free, maybe the first week is free, and then you can go on. It's when you want to get a certificate that you have to pay to get a certificate. So you're not obliged to pay for the certificate. Or you can pay. You can go around, let me say, on average $60, $80 for the certificates. Or before you start the course, you can ask for them to give you financial aid, and then you do an application. You have an application, and within 15 days they will give you a reply. If your application is okay, then you can go ahead, do the course, and then you get a certificate for free. One of the greatest there is Medical Neuroscience by Dr. Leonard. white learned. And this course is really intense. It's really long, really. But at the end of the day, you find out that you've learned a lot about neuroscience. He covers everything: neuroanatomy, neurophysiology, experimental neuroscience, some concepts of neurosurgery, examination, everything. And he gives advice as well. So you have these videos that you can follow up, and then you have different tests that you have to pass. And at the end of the day, you pass a big major test. And the certificate you get is from Duke, which is one of the top universities in the US. So you get a certificate for passing a medical neuroscience course. Obviously, we know that certificates are always useful when you want to go ahead and sort of what would I say? When you want to go ahead and give your CV a better look. So it's always great to have this. You have the Ebrain course, you have the Coursera. So go ahead, take these courses. But guys, you can't do everything alone. I like a quote Dr. Sameh always uses. It's like, if we are here today, it's because we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Before us, we've had people who've done amazing things. We have elders. And one thing I like about Neurosurgical TV is that you have so many people from around the world that come and listen to these presentations. And they don't really have to, if you think about it. When you get here, you see, for example, Dr. Marco Meloni, who's usually here, a neurosurgeon from Italy. You see, for example, Dr. Cabulo, who's here at, right now, or Dr. Nuru, who are seniors, are elders, and they come and participate. Now, talking about mentorship. Mentorship is this relationship between a mentor and mentee, but you need to understand what it means to be a mentee. Your mentor does not have to be someone you know. Your mentor does not have to be someone you meet every day. You can have a mentor just by reading someone's autobiography, getting the advice from their book. You can have a mentor who's your friend or someone of your age. That's peer mentorship. If you find that this person can help you get past a few roadblocks or become a better person. Now, when you're a mentee and you have a relationship with this person because it's not through a book, for example, you need to understand the person that's mentoring you is very busy. So you need to respect this person's time and you need to do the work. The person can't just, your mentor can't just be dragging you all around. No, you have to do the work and you have to make them proud. So you have as well, you have duties as a mentee. That's the way you will get the best out of a mentor-mentee relationship. Do the work, be respectful of their time, and you will be able to make it. Books, guys. You cannot get everything from textbooks, obviously. You have books. And some books I've learned to appreciate through reading. I've cited just a few of them here. Do No Harm by Dr. Marsh. If you get the opportunity to read this, you will get to know whether you actually love neurosurgery or not, or whether neurosurgery is made for you or not. When Air Hits Your Brain, Tales from Neurosurgery, great book. Gifted Hands, those who have not read it have watched the movie by Dr. Ben Carson, one of the most famous neurosurgeons right now, especially given that he's become a politician. Complications, a surgeon's notes on an imperfect science. This is by Dr. Atul Gawande. Dr. Atul Gawande is really known around the world because he's a philanthropist, a great surgeon, and he's the one who introduced the concept of checklists in the OR, in the operating room, and he also wrote Better, a surgeon's notes on performance. Another book, really interesting, The Neuroscience of Sleep. This is not an exhaustive list, but I would advise that you should start with these books.
I'm sorry, did you want to screen share, Sydney? I took you off the, Ulrich, I took you off the screen share. Do you still want to screen share?
Yeah.
Okay, could you might as well go back on the screen share there.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
There you
go. So if you aspire to be a neurosurgeon, then you need to understand that you're not just defined by the science, neurosurgery. No. Because if you actually believe in science, in neurosurgery, then you know that your patient is not just tumors and strokes and whatever, especially if you're from a low and middle income countries. Simple example, a patient comes to you and you have the diagnosis, you know the treatment, you have the skills. The patient has no money to pay for the treatment. It is your job as a real neurosurgeon to find out ways and means to get a solution to your patient. That goes beyond neurosurgery. You finish your training in the best training centers, you get back home. The hospital has no word for you. They have no equipment for you. Well, you get to do fundraising. You're not going to learn that during residency. You need to learn fundraising if you're going to do neurosurgery. You need to be able to talk to the population to let them know that operating on the brain is not a taboo, it's not sorcery, it's not magic. So you need to learn other things than just neurosurgery. You need to become a better person, a better man, a better woman if you are a woman. So besides the neurosurgery, you need to become a better person. So that means you need to train yourself on other things. As a neurosurgeon, you'll be the head of a team. You don't learn you don't actually learn those skills, the non-technical surgery, the non-surgical skills. You need to get better at communicating, for example. You need to improve your emotional intelligence. It's not just about the IQ. You need to be able to be aware of your emotions and those of the others. Don't be one of those surgeons who's in the OR when things go wrong, he just starts screaming at everyone. No, don't be one of those people. You need to be able to constantly improve, boost people around you. That is that emotional intelligence. That is that social intelligence. How do you do that? Well, once again, I'll go back to YouTube, for example. You've got TEDx, amazing, amazing channel. TEDx, you have these people who've done amazing things in the world, talking about one specific thing. Go and just follow on TEDx. They'll speak maybe about how to better deal with people around you, how to negotiate, for example. If tomorrow the head of your hospital says, well, I have this amount and I'm hesitating between spending on something for gynecology and something for neurosurgery, you need to be able to negotiate. You need to make sure that things don't come in the way of the progress of your neurosurgery. But that negotiation doesn't mean you have to trample everyone. No. So negotiation means everyone tries and they find something positive at the end of the day. It's sort of a marriage, it's not a competition. So you have to learn that. That's the extra neurosurgical training you have to do. And then you equally have to work your skills, meet people around the world. When you go into conferences, it's not about the most gifted hands. If you go to a conference, no one knows what your skills are. Nobody actually really cares about those skills. You have to be a good person. You have to have that conversation, be able to adapt yourself. You go to a new country, learn the culture and all that. People feel good when you come to their country and they feel that you're interested in their culture. So before you go to a place, instead of just spending all the day reading up your neurosurgery notes, you might be learning about the different cities, the history of the place, the food of the place. And that way you build better relationships with people. And these relationships would make you improve as a person. And as a person and as a neurosurgeon, at the end of the day, you're going to improve the lives of people around you. That's the only way you're going to touch many lives. Because if you only focus on the one patient that's in your operating theater, you will only save one patient. But if you care about the patient and his family, then when you do something for the patient, you do it for his family, and you do it for a greater number of people. So, friends, these are some of the resources that came up I had in mind for this presentation. Right now, I would like to have any questions, comments, or suggestions that you might have.
Great. That was good for a fill-in. I got some pearls, and I'm not a student, and I know that some of the resources are dynamite. I just want to show you a couple. I'm not a neurosurgeon, but I took neuroanatomy in med school, and let me show you a few. Well, let me show you. Hold on. Let me get a few links of a program text called Sidman and Sidman. And it was, for me, I had troubles with neuroanatomy in med school. I got this program text, and I began to understand the decussations and those type of principles. And let me just share this here real quick. It's called Sidman and Sidman, the program text, right there. Okay. Have you ever heard of that book? I don't know if it's popular now, Ulrich. Have you ever seen that book before or no?
Yes, I have, but it's not the most popular in terms of neuroanatomy.
Well, in my day, well, it was good for me. I liked it, and I learned a lot. And another resource is the UHU's 1,000 videos. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's on the surgical neurology page. Let me show you. Have you ever seen these videos? This is Juha Hernes-Niemi. He's done 1,000 videos on aneurysm surgery. It's classic. IPA has worked with Juha, but he is an expert on aneurysms, and he did 1,000 videos on aneurysms. And Dr. Cabullo, are you there? Can you give any other input? I don't know, or any other panelists have some resources that you use during training at all? Dr. Cabullo, are you there? I don't know if he stepped away maybe. Or Daniel or Zolo. Dr. Cabullo, are you there?
Yes, Dr. Bennett, I'm there.
Oh, good. Can you give some neurosurgical resources that you used when you were a med student?
Yes, I'm very sorry. I wanted to give my input, but I'm being called at the hospital. So
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry.
Before the presentation, we'll discuss about that. But congratulations, Dr. Ebrain. That was a nice presentation. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I think I have more questions. I have also more to share, especially in terms of research. I like too much research, and I like to publish. I write cases, articles, case reports. So we'll talk about that in details maybe tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cabullo.
Daniel, are you there? I guess a med student. I don't know how much recommendation you can give. Daniel, you there? Perhaps he stepped away. How about Zolo? He's another student. I think he's a fellow Cameroon.
I'm there. I'm still there.
Oh, you're there, Daniel. Do you have any books that you use that you can tell us about? In med school? I don't know if you have or not.
Yes, I'm evolving in French, so most of our books are in French. We use Camina collection. The 5 tom is really about anatomy. We also use Meta Atlas of anatomy, and we at some extent use videos and other resources.
Very good. Very good. You know, Zolo, you have any comments or?
Hello to everybody.
Welcome, Zolo.
Yes, hello to everybody. Yes, I'm happy to be part of the presentation. It's really amazing. Personally, I'm like, wow, because you know, in our faculty, it's not maybe to like put a black image of about the faculty, but neuroscience, I mean neurosurgery, it is not. They are not putting too much emphasis on it. You know, they spend much time, like they don't put a lot of time on it. They just pass over it, and really being here helps me to make my knowledge about neurosurgery more deep, if I can put it like that. It's more of a personal effort, and I'm really happy to be here. I listened to the presentation with a lot of attention and a lot of, yeah, I would say, in French we say attente, like I was waiting a lot, I was expecting, yes. So, and I think all my expectations have been, I can say, fulfilled, if I can put it like that. And I'm really happy. But personally, what I used for like to what I used to use, if I can put it like that, because today I think I'm going to add a lot to everything that Dr. Ebrain spoke about. So what I used was I use a lot of applications to try to make my knowledge about neurosurgery broad. I use Medscape. I use Teach Me Anatomy. I use I forgot the name, but these apps they permit you to have like a 3D image of everything, and also Netter's Atlas of Anatomy. So that's what I use. But I think today I'm really like going to go deeper. I also use books like Toronto Notes, but though it's not like so deep, but it gave me some ideas at least to take me through till now. But I think today this presentation is going to help me to get into the world, like to dive into it, and I think I'm going to eat, and maybe choke, choke of neurosurgery. So thank you very much, Dr. Ebrain, and thank you, Neurosurgical TV.
You're welcome. Well, you know, Ulrich, when I went to med school, it was 100% textbook, and of course webinars, et cetera, but nowadays education is a different ballgame with the internet. What percentage of time would you say? Well, of course, I think, and I think most surgeons will agree that the textbook are the main source of study. And how about you? How much time do you spend reading textbooks compared to spending time on the internet? About what percentage would you say?
In my case, I'd say I spend about 70% on internet and then 30% on textbooks.
Oh,
because
okay.
like I said, ever since I discovered these different resources, it's basically having textbooks online and free. So and then with the kind of feed I have on Twitter, I have it's almost automatic, because while I'm on Twitter, I will find, for example, a tweet on an article on some pathology, I don't know, maybe traumatic brain injuries, and then next thing I know, I'm clicking and then clicking and then clicking, and then you find yourself reading for 3 hours without having planned to read on that, because every time you're like, what's this? And then you keep going. I think it's not so much about, some people like paperback, so they will be reading textbooks. Some people are okay with the digital. I think at the end of the day, it's just getting to meet your objectives. If you do that, and then, well, you should be okay.
I wish I could be a student again, because I love the internet, and man, there's such good resources to use conveniently. And one advantage today is the network, like you mentioned, the networking and meeting other neurosurgeons for work in the future, or fellowships in the future, or jobs in the future, which we didn't have when I was a student.
Yeah.
You know, you met them at a conference, or you traveled, but nowadays you can conveniently meet them on your desktop, which is a big plus for getting jobs and fellowships. And I hope we can help other people get positions.
So John, Dr. Kabulo mentioned something. I want to just go on with that, because I really, you know, it's always great when you see people liking what we're presenting. So I want to go forward and give them more information, for example, on research, because that's another important thing. I know a lot of guys here would like to be not just neurosurgeons, but be probably the best of the best, and that means not just education. That means getting into research. Unfortunately, I know the reality for most of those who are here, sub-Saharan Africans, medical students. Research is not the same as it is in the US. In the US, it's more of what would they say? You publish or perish. So we are still trying to get that mentality. For most of us, it's like it's when you get into your final year of medical school that you work on a thesis, and most of them don't actually even publish them. So what I would say about research is the earlier you get in, the better. You won't have everything figured out from the start, but I have a few tips to help you out, because these are the ones that actually help me out as well. I wouldn't say I'm there yet. I'm very far from being there, but at least this can get you started. So I'm going to share once again my screen. I've had a few guys while I was presenting, a few people asking me in my messages that I should share this.
They want the links, right? They don't want to attend, but they want the good things.
So I'm going to after this, I'll just work on a document, and I'll just share it with you guys, so that everyone can profit from that. So talking about, yes, so research, guys, there is this Researcher Academy. It's a free online suppository for early career researchers. It is done by Elsevier.
That's a publisher, Elsevier.
Yeah, Elsevier. So you can learn everything from the very beginning to the more complex things. So you have the research, you have modules and topics. So you have everything: research preparation, writing for research, publication process, peer review, communicating your research. You're going to learn everything from those who have published, and most of them are editors-in-chief in different of Elsevier's journals. So you're going to learn a lot of really great things. Let's take, for example, this funding. We all know that if you're going to do research, then you need funds. And unfortunately, we've not learned how to get funds. That's what I was saying. You don't just learn neurosurgery. You have to learn other things. If you're not able to generate funds, you will not do research. If you don't do research, then your academic career doesn't go very far, does it? So you need to be able to get funding. And Elsevier proposes these different modules: how to secure funding, funding hacks for researchers, successful research grant applications, discover how metrics can boost funding and networking opportunities. This is just one thing. And they have all of these things that you see here. So go onto Researcher Academy, and then the earlier you start, the better. Another thing you can check is Author A, in one word, Author A. Yes, Author A. They do courses as well. They have sort of semesters or sessions, I would say. So once again, you can register and take these courses, and you will learn a lot about research. Don't be afraid. These guys propose mentorships. So get a mentor, try to work with them. With research as well, I'd propose that you should work on the different global neurosurgery programs that need multicentric participation. One of them, one of the more known, is the Global Neurotrauma. The Global Neurotrauma is trying to, this is it. No, not this one, sorry. This Global Neurotrauma. So in Global Neurotrauma, they're working on the treatment of traumatic brain injuries. So we had a presentation, I think about 3 or 4 weeks back, where we had the president of the WFNS who came. We equally had the guys from Cambridge who were around. We had Dr. Esene Ignatius as well, who was part of the team. And like I said, if you participate in these things, then you get to meet amazing people, guys who are at the top of the food chain, if we can say. We in that presentation, we had Professor Peter Hutchinson, who was there. We had David Clark as well. We had Angelos Kolias. And these are guys that you can follow on Twitter, for example, so that you know what happens. This is the president of WFNS, Franco Sevadei. This is Amro, who's the president of the Young Neurosurgeons Forum. Dr. All of us know, I think, all of us know Professor Ibshirian. Dr. Ignatius Esene is the chair of the Young African Neurosurgeons. So really a great person as well. Dr. Walt Johnson is the liaison at the WHO. Yoko Kato is, I mean, just go into Google and then hit her name, and then you will learn you learn who she is. She's huge, big. Dr. Tariq Khan is in Pakistan. He's actually the one who's going to be organizing the next ICRAN. That's the International Conference on Research on Recent Advances in Neurotrauma, which will take place in November. Normally, it was supposed to take place earlier this year in Pakistan, in Peshawar. Unfortunately, there was this issue between Pakistan and India, so we had to postpone the event. So we have all these people. I think some of us here know Professor Mahmoud Qureshi from East Africa, Professor Gail Rousseau as well, WFLNS liaison at WHO. So you can participate in these things. How do you participate? Well, try to get in touch with any neurosurgeon, any anesthesiologist or surgeon who does who takes care of traumatic brain injuries, and try to get them to register. If they register, then you can ask them to have you in their team as one of the participants, not the participants, one of the investigators. And that way, at the end, when the paper gets published, you can actually get mentioned as well as being one of the collaborators. So don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to participate in this research. Otherwise, you can equally participate in what we call global surgery researches. You can do that via groups like Incision. If you participate, if you work with Incision, you can also get a lot on research. Those were the different resources I had for research right now. Like I said, I'm going to work on a file. I'll try and do that as soon as possible, and I'll share it with those of you whom I have your contacts, and then I'll give it to John as well, so that the others can get it from John. Yeah, if there are any questions or comments, then go ahead. If not, then I think we can end this here.
Okay, you know, I wish I was I wish I was a student again. You know, Ulrich, I have a friend in Chicago. He's a medical student, and he's 50 years old. He wants to be a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got the bug. Have you met Simon?
No. But there's there was in the news recently some a guy in the US who graduated from neurosurgery residency at 75.
He just has the bug. He just has the bug. You know,
yeah.
And you probably have the bug, and a lot of others, you know, other people have the bug. But thanks. It's a good resource. Hopefully, people will watch this tape to be able to see. Let me let someone in here. Maybe they have a question. And Zolo, I guess I already asked you. I don't want to make you talk too much. Let me see if there's a person coming in. Lenny, how you doing? Lenny, how are you doing? How are you?
So
Lenny, could you please introduce yourself? We haven't met you yet.
Pardon?
Could you please introduce yourself? We haven't met you yet.
Okay, I'm Yorianu. I'm a medical doctor, general practitioner. I'm right in Cameroon, and I wish to be a neurosurgeon.
Oh, okay. Very good. Now, Ulrich did a comprehensive overview of the resources available to the aspiring neurosurgeon. Now, Laney, do you have any suggestions on books or materials for neurosurgical to learn about neurosurgery? Any recommendations or comments?
Right now, I would say no, because I had even less than what Ulrich proposed to us right now.
Oh, okay, no problem. No problem. No problem. Very welcome, and you're welcome to come to any of these presentations. And with that, let me surprise Ulrich here. And
so, guys, I hope you'll be there. You'll be here tomorrow as we. Yes, thank you, John.
There we go.
Thanks.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Ulrich, this is see, we're getting better with production.
Yes. So,
You can talk about the show tomorrow.
so what you're doing, what you're saying at the back of John there is the poster for tomorrow's presentation.
Yeah,
We're going to have a
let me get out
presentation.
of the way, okay? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's going to be a presentation on the second half of the blood supply for the brain. This is the posterior aspect. So we're going to have venous drainage and arterial drainage. As well, we're going to catch up, because so Dylan will be speaking about what he was supposed to talk today, the medulla oblongata, and we'll just have venous drainage, because I just had a message just now from Natalie. She's on call, so we'll still have two lectures, the one for today and the one for tomorrow.
Okay, we'll revise the poster.
Yes, no worries.
We'll revise it and we'll post it.
So you're all welcome to participate in this presentation. Not just come. If you want to do a presentation, just let us know anytime. We are open to that. We want to see as many people participating. I think that's even the objective for today. And always talk to your friends, talk to people around you. The more people we have, the better we are. We are strong. We have strength in numbers. So invite your friends so that we can be many of us here.
Let me just mention one thing. Ebrain will be presenting on Super Sunday, 5 o'clock Indian time. A cystic CP angle tumor with facial and eighth nerve involvement. So we got a lot going on.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So I'd like to thank you for filling in there and giving a great impromptu resource for aspiring neurosurgeons. And thanks to panelists for coming. So we'll wrap this up and stay here, guys.
Yeah,